Hi, friends, it's Miss Case. The last time I saw you, a lot of us were talking about fairy tales in our classrooms. We were reading them and listening to our teachers read them, and I know that a lot of us really enjoyed them. Some of you may remember the story of the Three Little Pigs, and I know that we read several variations of that story. And today I have one of my favorites called The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. So I'm going to be reading this version to you today, and then we're going to talk about some questions that you can answer at home with your families or grown-ups, and then email me the answers. Here we go. It says The True Story of the Three Little Pigs by A. Wolfe. But down here it has the real author's name, as told by Jon Scieszka. And I don't really know how to pronounce that name, so we're just gonna roll with it. Okay. Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I wonder whose point of view this is in. Maybe the wolf. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks, we would probably think you were big and bad too. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. I'm excited to hear what happens. Way back and once upon a time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold. Achoo! I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now, this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in their right mind would build a house out of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house, so I called, Little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed. Achoo! And I sneezed a great sneeze. And you know what? The whole darn straw house fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner laying there in the straw, so I ate him up. Think of it as seeing a big cheeseburger just lying there. My goodness, the wolf ate the first pig. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had built his house of sticks. I rang the bell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig? Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back, Go away, wolf, you can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin. I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming. I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth. Achoo! But I sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was the second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. I hope he doesn't eat him too. Now, you know, food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better. and I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of his family because he had built his house of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. I called, Mr. Pig. Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little porker answered? Get out of here, wolf. Don't bother me again. That was not kind. Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar and he won't give me even one little cup for my dear sweet old granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed and I snuffed. Achoo! And I sneezed once again. The little pig yelled, and your old granny can sit on a pin. Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course, I was trying to break down the pig's door, and the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. The rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the 2 pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all of the huff and puff, blow your house down, and they made me to be the big bad wolf. That's it, the real story. I was framed. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar. He still didn't get that sugar. I wonder if he ever made his granny's cake. And that is the true story of the 3 little pigs. I hope you enjoyed it. I think that this book is really funny, and it's nice to hear the story from a different perspective. So I have a few questions for you that I would like for you to go back in the video and find the answers to. Question number 1, what is the wolf's full name? So I want you to go back to the beginning of the video and try and listen. What is the wolf's full name? And email me that answer. Also, who was the wolf baking a cake for? Do you remember that small detail? I want you to listen to the story and let me know who the wolf is baking the cake for. Also, what did the wolf need to borrow? Why was he going to the pigs' houses anyway? Do you remember? And my last question is, if you were a little pig, what would you make your house out of? So email me all of your answers. I'll put my email in the caption, and I look forward to hearing your responses. Have a great day.